Resolving the crisis in Iran requires a strategic approach that prioritizes diplomacy, measured engagement, and the balancing of internal and external pressures rather than reliance on military action alone. The combination of domestic protests, governmental repression, and international signaling creates a highly volatile environment in which hasty or coercive measures risk exacerbating instability. Sustainable resolution must address the underlying drivers of unrest, including economic grievances, limitations on civil liberties, and questions of political legitimacy, while simultaneously managing external pressures in a manner that does not provoke escalation. Any effective approach depends on careful calibration, multilateral coordination, and the recognition that durable outcomes emerge from negotiation and compromise rather than unilateral imposition. Political engagement is essential to managing the complex dynamics of legitimacy and authority. The Iranian government's credibility has been weakened by its handling of protests, while citizens' trust in formal institutions is limited. Creating spaces for dialogue between state authorities, civil society actors, and opposition figures can facilitate mechanisms for accountability, conflict resolution, and reform. Such engagement must be structured to ensure meaningful participation, mitigate coercion, and provide safeguards for both citizens and policymakers. External actors can play a supportive role by encouraging inclusive dialogue, providing mediation resources, and reinforcing commitments to respect sovereignty and human rights, but they cannot substitute for the internal consensus necessary to stabilize governance. Economic considerations are equally critical. Persistent inflation, unemployment, and shortages exacerbate domestic unrest and undermine political legitimacy. Any strategy for resolution must incorporate measures to stabilize the economy, restore access to essential goods, and rebuild institutional capacity for fiscal management. These efforts require coordination between domestic authorities and international partners to provide technical expertise, targeted aid, and market access, while avoiding interventions that could be perceived as coercive or intrusive. Effective economic stabilization strengthens the credibility of governance and addresses one of the root causes of public dissatisfaction. Managing the risk of external escalation is an additional dimension. Signals of potential intervention, threats, or punitive measures from outside actors can undermine negotiation efforts and provoke defensive mobilization. Restraint, measured communication, and adherence to diplomatic channels are necessary to prevent miscalculations that could rapidly escalate conflict. International engagement must be framed not as pressure for submission, but as facilitation of processes that enable domestic actors to resolve disputes, implement reforms, and rebuild social cohesion. Ultimately, a sustainable path forward requires integrating political, economic, and diplomatic strategies to create conditions in which governance can function effectively, citizens' grievances are addressed, and external pressures are managed responsibly. Durable stability depends on the capacity of domestic actors to negotiate, implement reforms, and maintain legitimacy, supported but not replaced by carefully calibrated international engagement that reinforces constructive outcomes while minimizing the risk of conflict.